We have created an API with Express. Now we want to create a client application in order to interact with the language models. And we want to create a React application. For this task, we're going to ask ChatGPT for help. So what I've done is to copy and paste my code right into the chatbot. And based on the source code, ChatGPT was able to analyze the code and provide with a line-by-line explanation. Starting with the libraries that we use in this project, then it was able to explain also the routes that we have defined. So this ask post method that we use to send and receive messages from the language model. And also it was able to explain what we have inside this route by using this method, which is create chat completion, and how to define the models and also the list of messages that we pass along when we send the request to the language model. And so based on that, I've asked ChatGPT to create a React component by using this API. So of course, ChatGPT was able to help by providing first instructions as to how to create a React app. So we need to install also Axios in order to make API calls. And finally, it provides the source code to create the chatbot component that we need to make to include inside the root components right here in app.js. So we're going to do that. We're going to follow the instructions from ChatGPT. So back to the code editor, I have defined a chatbot component and I've made a few changes. And what we need to do to complete here the assignment is first to make reference of the input, so meaning the message that we're going to send to the bot. And then we're going to display the list of messages. So that's going to be displayed on the interface, on the chatbot. So let's see how this looks. So now the app is up and running on the port 3000. So this is the interface of the React app. And I'm going to send a message. So for now, this is just for the demo. This is static content. Or let me actually update right here. So what I'm going to do is do set messages right here. We're going to do that. And we're going to need to combine the messages along with the new message. So that's going to be the new inputs from the user right here. So let's try that again. We're going to say hello. Here we go. So for now, this is just static content. What we need is to send this message to the language model and then receive a response back from the bot. So we're going to be able then to display the list of messages right here. So let's do that. So now we are making a post request. So what we do is to copy this array and we're going to send this as the body along with the request. So this is to send a list of messages to the language model. Then we're going to get a response back. And for that, from there, we're going to update the list of messages with the response that we get from the API. So that's going to be response data and then messages. And so what I'm going to do next is also to update my API, because what we had done so far is just to send back this message. And also we're going to update here because we are using just this example. So what I'm going to do is update here by taking the body. So whatever is sent as the body of the request, the post request, and we're going to get the messages that we're going to send as a value to messages to send the request to the language model. And this must correspond to this messages. And actually I'm going to update right here. So that's going to be messages. So that must match. So this will be messages with an S. And here as well, this is going to be messages. All right. And after that, we're going to update also the response that we sent right here. So after the request is successful, if the request is successful with the status code of 200, we're going to be able to then send the response and read it from our interface, from the chatbot. So here as well, this is going to be messages, and we're going to send this as a list of messages. So that's going to be request, then body messages, and also completion, data, choices. That's going to be the first element in the array. And finally, message. That's it. So let's try that. What we're going to do is to send our request. And to try it, I'm just going to open the console to make sure that the request is going through correctly. And that's going to be under the tab network. I'm going to send hello. Let's go back to network. I'm going to send hello. And looks like it failed. And the reason is because, let's go back to console to see the mistake, the error. And let's go back actually to, I'm going to open the console inside right here. And looks like we're not using the right key. So you got to make sure that you have the API key in order to authorize your request. So I'm going to change this. Right here, you have this .env example file. I'm going to change this to .env like this. And I'm going to replace this with the API key that we had created earlier. I'm going to find it right here, and I'm going to update with this API key so we can authorize the request and be able to interact with the language model. So that should be fine this time. Let's restart the server just in case. So let's go back and go here. I'm going to restart. And that should be fine. Let's refresh and start again. We're going in network. I'm going to say hello. And looks like this is going through. Perfect. Now we get a response back that says, hello, how can I assist you today? So that's it for our first next generation application to understand the underlying concepts and technologies that power ChatGPT. And we're just getting started with the future of development with ChatGPT and the language models. And other language models include the DALL-E model for image generation, and also speech-to-text to convert voice to text. Then you have Moderation API, which is used to filter content that violates the OpenAI's usage and policies. And there is also the options to use fine-tuning in order to customize the models with your own data in a specific domain. And things are moving very fast in the AI ecosystem, so this is always good practice to check out the list of available models.